So we do. Right. So otherwise, hello everyone and welcome to Mojo for Industry presents digital dialogue on hot trends in cutting tools, sponsored by Doma Pyramid. We'll go for a small commercial break. So, the cutting tools industry in India plays a significant role in the manufacturing and engineering sectors. Cutting tools are essential for various applications such as metalworking, woodworking, automotive, aerospace, and construction industries. They are used for shaping, machining, and removing materials during the manufacturing process. India has a well-established cutting tools industry with a mix of domestic manufacturers and multinational companies operating in the country. The Indian cutting tools industry has witnessed significant growth over the past few years. So according to reports, the market size was valued at around US $1.35 billion in 2020 and is expected to grow at a CAGR of around 6% from 2021 to 2026. So today, we are joined by some of the best minds from the cutting tools manufacturing and their end user industry to discuss on the hot trends in cutting tools that are driving innovation and shaping the future of machining. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Sharad Kulkarni, who is the Sales Director Asia for Doma Pyramid. Welcome, Mr. Sharad.
Thank you very much, Subhajit.
Then we're joined by Mr. Rahul Inamdar, who is the Vice President Product and Application for Asian Market at Doma Pyramid. Welcome, Mr. Rahul.
Thank you so much, Subhajit. Welcome all.
Then we have Mr. Manoj Mohikar, who is the Deputy General Manager for Sales and Marketing at Oerlikon Wilzers Coating India. Welcome, Mr. Manoj.
Yeah, thank you, Subhajit.
Then we have the young and dynamic Mr. Mohammad Arshad, who is the National Application Manager, Hurco India. Welcome, Mr. Arshad.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
Right. So to set the tone of the session, may I ask our panelists to share your 2 minutes opening comments on the importance of cutting tools in manufacturing and production processes. So can I start with Mr. Sharad Kulkarni?
Thank you very much, Subhajit, once again, and good afternoon to all of you. At the outset, I'd like to thank Mojo for Industry for organizing this event. Also like to greet my co-panelists and also like to thank all of them who have joined us online today for this event. Well, if you look at, let me take a step back and just like to understand, from a Doma Pyramid perspective. We say in Doma Pyramid that our purpose is that we care for manufacturing. What do you mean by that? We care for manufacturing. We are a part of the manufacturing ecosystem, and at the same time, we also try and meet the needs of the customer who are in the manufacturing industry, more specifically in the area of machining. So then let's understand what are the needs or the emerging needs of the customers in this industry. I would say first and foremost productivity. And by productivity, I mean that meeting the needs or the market needs of their customers and on time. That's what I would define as productivity. Simultaneously, reducing the cost of manufacturing, and also reducing the net working capital, which is nothing but inventory. So productivity, cost, reduction of cost, and reduction of inventory. At the same time, improving the quality, because that's also very important, from an Indian, manufacturing perspective. Focus on sustainability, and at the same time also engage with themes like, digitalization, which is important for now and in the future. So it's all about productivity, reducing cost, reducing inventory, improving quality, focusing on sustainability or environment, and then also taking some initiative in the area of digitalization. So these are the needs of the customers. But Subhajit, that is just one aspect. The other aspect of this is basically we have to partner with the machine tool industry, and I think I'm glad that we have a partner here today in the panel who's representing the machine tool industry. In fact, if I may say a few words about the machine tool industry, it has gone a sea change in the last many decades. From introducing the CNC or computerized numerical machine controls in the late 80s or early 80s, to the 5-axis machine, multi-axis machine, to high-speed machining, IoT-enabled machines, cyber physical systems, sensor-based, systems, and now, of course, AI-based or artificial intelligence-based, systems, all designed to improve the, efficiency, of the machine tools. In fact, there has to be a perfect marriage between the cutting tool and the machine tool. Otherwise, I think we will never be able to meet the needs of the customers. So, I would say that I would conclude this statement, opening statement, by saying that it's important to meet the need of the customer, as I said, and also important to collaborate and partner with the machine tool industry. And that's what driving the whole thing, or new developments or the forces that are shaping the cutting tool industry in India today, and indeed in the global as well.
Wow. Very well said, sir. Mr. Manoj, what is your opinion on the importance of cutting tools in manufacturing and production process?
Yeah, as far as Oerlikon, the basic core values what we consider is to bring in the most innovative products to ease the life of any industry. In terms of, say, in the machining areas, to give customers the best productive applications and improve on the cost per component, to make it more economical. That is basically the vision of Oerlikon. And we are basically having very strong R&D. So almost every year we have new product launches coming up, which is, whatever is my existing product, it improves on that particular product further, and it gives the additional productivity related improvements, cost related improvements to the to my customers.
Right.
So that is how the Oerlikon works.
So, Mr. Arshad, would you like to share your opinion on the importance of cutting tools in manufacturing and production process? It's a very opening remarks.
Yes, of course. This is a very good session. Thanks for all. For having a session like this. Normally, for whenever we go to any process or to sell the machine, we usually say that it's not only the machine which can alone perform and get you an output. It's a combination of machine, tools, and fixturings and coolants, all those things, in which the machine and tools play a very major role on this. So where it happens is the technology enhancement are happening in the machine and in the tooling sector. Both are like that. We go to the next level, then the tooling guys comes to that level, and the tooling goes to the next level of advancement. Then we have to cope up with them. This is how. It's what to say. It's a healthy competition. They come up with a technological tool, and our controller also has to be sufficient to handle those kind of strategies and those kind of trochoidal milling, all those technologies we have to be. That it has to be passed over also to the customers who are in the market. It should be, these kind of sessions will be eye-opening for them. There are machines with latest technologies, cutting tools with technologies, which can bring down the cycle time, which can produce more precise parts, which can be profitable for them. Cycle time reduction, all those things. Yeah,
Right.
this platform like this discussion, a panel discussion, will sure make customer to understand the products, understand the technology, and go to choose that path and get the best out of it.
Right. That's great, Harshad, hearing from you. Mr. Sarad, you were talking about how the industry has evolved over the years. From you were talking about the CNCs as well. So for the mission tool segment. So when you look at the cutting tools industry, you have decades of experience within this ecosystem. What's your comment on the status of the current status of Indian cutting tools industry?
Well, I think if I talk about the cutting tool industry, really, I think Domo Pramit, which is a part of the Sandvik Group. The Sandvik Group started its operations in India in 1960. And that's where I think when the Sandvik Group came to India and started its operations first plant in Pune, which is still there. And from that point onwards, now I think we have been there in the Indian market, serving the customers through different brands. And Domo Pramit is basically focused on the mid-market segment. So if I look at the situation of the cutting tool industry today, I think today the Indian customer has really evolved in terms of the technology that is using on his shop floor, in the terms of the machines that he's using, in terms of the resources, people who are much more in terms of their own understanding, knowledge, not only on the machine tool side, but also on the cutting tool side, but also on the systems like CAD/CAM, I think has really increased. So this all things means that I think today, I think we are in a state of a real good mature state when it comes to the cutting tool industry. We are using, the Indian customer is using the latest technology products and services in order to manufacture, and he is increasingly serving not only the domestic demands but also the global demands. Particularly, last one decade has been a game changer for the overall manufacturing industry. We know that the composition of the GDP of the manufacturing in India was a little over 15%. But with the increasing thrust on Make in India and other initiatives like PLI, we have seen that that there has been an increasing investment on the manufacturing side, on the machining side. And I would say that in that sense, there is the market is very attractive for all the local and the global brands, and also for customers. I think it's also a good situation because I think he can get whatever globally. I think production services customer gets. I think the same can be now is available in India.
Right. Mr. Manoj, Mr. Sarad is saying that no industry has
Yeah, I mean, whatever Sharad has explained, I mean, I agree. I mean, nowadays, even the demographics of the manufacturing, I mean, it's changing a lot. Even if you really see the aerospace industry, I mean, the way aerospace industry is growing in and around India. I mean, we are now almost having almost all kind of applications for the machining. It is happening in India, and the technology wise or the latest machinery wise, everything is, I mean, people are using latest technologies, and this is bringing more and more challenges. Of course, still, I mean, there are certain customer bases there, which is still with very old machine setup. It is still running. And at the same time, we also have the latest people using latest technology. And further, in addition to that, whatever 3C related industry which is coming up, like the mobile handset manufacturing or the PCB manufacturing or the chip manufacturing, that itself is going to bring the whole lot of new kind of application areas. And the growth will be, I mean, it will be tremendous exponential growth.
Right. So, Mr. Arshad, both of them, I see Mr. Manoj as well as Mr. Sarad, they were talking about the market maturity as well as the how what I understand that Indian market has matured like a kind of a global market or rather developed market. Do you agree with that? And on top of that, would you like to, do you see any kind of, scopes of improvement for the, from the machine tools or cutting tool manufacturers?
Yeah, of course, 100% agree with. Okay, so the last 1 week, people have started understanding what is technology and where do we invest. Okay, for the right part to be produced, there should be a right machine with right toolings, right fixtures, right coolants, everything, CAD/CAM systems, everything. Okay, yeah, people are very much matured. Everything is available online. They go through the Google and YouTube it. What is the best they select? So that's how we have started competing with the world market, global market. Okay, so maybe 15-20 years back, maybe that may not be there only for the India. We were inside India, we were supplying, and now we have opened the market and we have started supplying for Airbus, Boeing, everywhere. Okay, for a US company, we are exporting. So that exposure, yeah, we have got, people have started understanding. They have started understanding where to invest, how to invest. It is not unnecessary that they invest and keep it. They know where to invest and what returns they will be getting it out of that. Okay, so that knowledge is there with all the customers now, especially in aerospace. Okay, aerospace, where it is booming a lot in India, aerospace. So yeah, I go with them. I 100% agree with the point of both of them.
That's good. So, Mr. Sarad, you were talking about some of the policy announcements. So I think I have to believe with the like Make in India or Atmanirbhar Bharat. Are these the initiatives you are talking about? And if these are the initiatives you are talking about, are they really delivering on ground?
Yes, Subhajit, I believe so. That I think these are initiatives that are delivering on ground. I mean, if you follow the the macroeconomic data, I think last few years, I think there is a clear evidence that I think this is working. Yes, I think there is a boost to the automotive industry. As my co-panelists said, that aerospace industry is a sunrise industry today in India. So with the booming, or the third biggest civilian, market we have, this commercial, civilian market that we have got in India, and the large amount of the orders of the airplanes that we have placed on Europe and US, it's quite natural that some of this manufacturing is moving rapidly to India. The other part which I didn't mention was basically geopolitics. I mean, if we were talking, Subhajit, something like 3-4 years, we would be talking about globalization. But now things have changed. Now we are talking about geopolitics. Yes. Geopolitics is also reorienting of the supply chains, which means that some of the industries are shifting from traditionally, from China to some other markets like Vietnam, Indonesia, India, Mexico. And that is a reality, because since I also have a first-hand experience of and handling the Chinese market, so I know that this is a reality. This is happening. So so the Indian market could be a beneficiary of this trend, definitely, but it also depends upon how we embrace some of these principles of manufacturing, global best practices, and make sure that we are competitive in the global market, especially in the area of exports, because all the policies are basically initiated by the government, but there is other thing that the industry has to play its role as well in this.
Mr. Manoj, so China plus one, I think Mr. Sarad, that is what he wants to mention. Do you see that will drive the growth for Indian market?
Yeah, definitely. This is going to give a big boost, because I mean, previously I also used to work with Mahindra. So in Mahindra, I mean, those days, just 7-8 years back, I mean, right from bearing to even gear component sets, it used to come from China. And the way Make in India program is being now pushed, all those things now it has started manufacturing here locally in India, and the volumes of all the component manufacturers, I mean tier 1, tier 2 suppliers, for the local consumption as well as for the exports, it is having very good growth. I mean, that is what we are now experiencing everywhere.
Right. So, Mr. Sharad, if I come back to you, what do you see in the cutting tools in the industry, the 5 years down the line? What will be your perspective?
Yeah, I'm very positive about the cutting tool industry. There are this very different, technologies which are emerging. And if I can just name a few, basically there is still kind of a lot of juice left in the basic the tool material, which is continuously developing. There are research going on the cutting edge. How to kind of improve the cutting edge in terms of the substrate, in terms of coating, which I think Manoj knows much better. Um, but these things are happening at the same time. The whole focus on digitalization, meaning that sensor embedded tools or router and embedded tools, will mean that the tools are also getting connected to the part of Internet of Things, IoT, as I said, cyber physical systems with the machine controller, and other things, which I think will make the industry much more efficient, much more competitive, I think. And so some of these things Indian industry has to embrace very well. The other thing is that how do you use something like 3D printing or to manufacture in the cutter bodies, so that the machines which machine tool maker, I mean, they are making machines with a very high RPM. Now if you want to make a machine with a high RPM, it's important that the tool is balanced and it's lightweight. So some of the complementary technologies like 3D printing, is being used now to manufacture, the cutter to bodies in order to make sure that I think you can operate at high speeds. Uh, there are other interesting trends as well, I think, which are happening in the area of services, for example. So increasingly the industry is focusing on how to reduce the inventory, for instance. So can you manufacture tools which are more flexible in nature? Modular tooling is a reality today. It has been introduced many years ago, but it's still an important tool to deliver productivity and reduce cost, reduce inventory. So that is another trend which is important. So all in all, I see that there is there's a very good future for the cutting tool industry, specifically India, as I'm sure that the manufacturing as a part of the GDP will grow significantly. And therein I think lies a really good opportunity for all of us, the cutting tool industry and also the machine tool industry.
Thanks, Tarun. Mr. Manoj, your
Yeah.
outlook for next 5 years or so.
Yeah, I mean, there will be definitely certain disruptions, as Mr. Sharad said, for the 3D printing. I mean, 3D printing is basically going to reduce your machining volumes. I mean, it will be mostly nearly finished kind of components. So very light machining will be required. Another major disruption basically is the electrification. I mean, with electrification, basically the IC model it will try to get suppressed. I mean, but still, I still feel, I mean, another maybe 7-8 years, still till it starts getting impacted more on passenger vehicles. The growth will be still good for the cutting industry. I mean, currently, to some extent, on two-wheeler, we are finding some impact, but as a whole, we still find it is growing, whatever 6% CAGR, what we were talking, it is still growing good. I mean, next 5 years, still there will be good growth for in all the areas.
Arshad, I know you are patiently waiting for this. So.
Yeah, of course, for the next 5 years, it is going to grow. Yeah, the 3D printers. Even though the 3D printers are coming into the market, whether it may be metal based or plastic based, okay, but machine and tools, we cannot take it out from the industry, because when it comes for the mass production, okay, the 3D printers is not going to work for that. Okay, it's a 3D printers. Okay, first for a prototype, okay, it's very much useful. Okay, it is far better compared to the machining for the first prototype or some samples and all. But when it comes for the real time to meet the market requirements, only that can be done from a machines. Okay, with the tools, all those things. So down the line, next 5 years, yeah, for the prototype, we may go for some 3D printers and all. But as a production, the requirement is going to be keep on increasing as the future goes on. Okay, we are going to have a very big opening. As of now, we have a very big opening. It's going to be more big than that. Okay, that's what I feel.
Right. So thanks, Arshad. Thanks, Mr. Manoj, as well as Mr. Sarad, for sharing your opinion on the where the industry is going to be in next 5 years or so. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. So thanks, panelists, all the panelists, for setting the tone of the session. So that's the topic of the discussion today. So as the panelists said, the cutting tools industry in India has shown significant growth potential in recent years, and it is expected to have a bright future. And from here, it's only going to grow. So Indian manufacturing sector has been expanding steadily, as they were talking about, like Mr. Sharad was talking about the initiatives like Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat. As manufacturing activities like this increases, the demand for cutting tools in the industries such as automotive, aerospace, defense, electronics, and machinery are also going to rise. So now we will start with individual presentations to have deeper insights on the cutting tools industry. So ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Rahul Inamdar, Vice President, Product and Application for Asian Market at Dorma Pramet, to share his presentation on the recent advancements in cutting tool technology. I take this opportunity to inform you all that Mr. Rahul is a successful mountaineer and scaled even Himalaya. So welcome, Mr. Rahul, and it's our privilege to have you here today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Subhajit.
Right.
Yeah. Let me just share my screen. Am I audible and is the screen visible?
Yes, sir. You're absolutely fine, Mr. Rahul.
Great. I mean, I've been listening, and so our members who have already joined and co-panelists discussion. I mean, it was so healthy, basically, when it comes to the Indian industry and growth and advancement. Today, without taking much of the time, I will talk a bit on the recent advancement in the cutting tool technology, and also some of the hot trends right now ongoing in cutting tools hand-to-hand parallelly with the machine tools, Asrat, with you. When it comes to these two topics, let me directly jump into the advancement in the cutting tool technology. So, Subhajit, what I see and what we all see right now, and specifically when it comes to this Jumbase of Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, and also after the when it comes to global, after the post COVID, industry really seeks the development and innovation in the cutting tool. Of course, in the machine tool, but definitely in the cutting tool. And when it comes to the innovation or development, advancement in the cutting tool, it comes down directly to the heart, and the heart is the insert, the carbide. And when it comes to the carbide, it is a great development, from the historical age, when it comes to the grade, right from the high-speed steel, there are three main desirable properties and factors which everyone looks upon for the cutting tool or for the insert. Are it should be high wear resistant, it should be higher in the toughness, and at the same time it should be high hardness at the high temperature. That means hot hardness. So right now in the industry, in the metal cutting world, what is happening? When if it is the continuous cuttings, we go for the harder grades, and when it requires the interruption cutting or unstable cutting conditions, we generally select a tougher grade of the carbide insert and so on. But as I said, post COVID and the demand is increasing, the customers are now more demanding and understandable. At the same time, it comes down to the innovation. If I talk about, let's say, our Dorma Pramet, so we have touched upon this, we understood this, and we listen the requirement of the market. What is that? Which is covering the hardness and the toughness, both the strong properties in one single grade. That means inventory reduction, because of course, when you have a different machining conditions, a component requirement, it requires a different grades with the chip breakers. But now with this development and innovation, we have a single grade which caters ISO classification area, let's say ISO P, for an instance I talk about. So ISO P05 to ISO P25, or to the some extent ISO P30. So it is capable for continuous cutting, hot temperatures as well. That means higher RPM of the machines, higher feed rate, higher metal removal rates, productivity, chips generation, and at the same time also the toughness demanding operations. So single grade. So this is what I see a recent development. With that, let me also talk about the compatibility. You know, when it comes to typical milling concept, it's a rotating or indexable tool concept. Cutter bodies. These cutter bodies, we say, okay, it is a face mill, high feed mill, or it is a tangential milling cutters, or so on. And it has its significant, a specific area of the machining. So with the approach angle and so on. But this advancement, the development and innovation comes with one single cutter body, cutters, economical face milling, multi-edge as well, maybe 43-degree, 45-degree approach angle, but the same body contains square insert as well. That means we are talking here about the shoulder milling, multi-edge. So single body contains a different shape of the inserts, including the wiper cutting edge, the surface roughness values as well. So this is what is another advancement. When we say a sustainability, then again, energy saving, it's a topic now, kilowatt hour per unit. So when you start the machine, when the machining starts, the unit starts, kilowatt hour. And this is again, what not I am saying, but when it comes to the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, the data, what I was referring, in India, the power consumption in the manufacturing industry, when it comes to the production facility, it is 83%. 83%, huge. And when it comes to the general facility in India, it is around 17% of the consumption. So 83% production facility, isn't it too high? Yes, it is high. We need to do something. And when it comes to the machining, metal cutting, cutting tools, we have to come up, and the tools are now innovation with the low cutting force tools, different chip breakers, applying machining strategies with the help of the CAM and machine tool manufacturers, optimization in the cutting tool parameters. That means, as I said before as well, this is again correlating with the grade development, high temperature withstand carrying capacity of the grade, the toughness carrying capacity of the grade, no matter turning, milling, or drilling. And then again, a technological coatings as well, the geometry as well for the drills and so on, and approach with the productivity. When I say approach with the productivity, that means quick change, faster things, that means a modular tooling. So this is what I see the advancement in the cutting tool technology right now, what we have to reduce the kilowatt hour in the metal cutting. When it comes to the turning, very interestingly, we all know when it comes to the high feed milling, we know how it happens. It happens with the low approach angle. When you have the low approach at that time, you need to modify, compensate the feed rates. We have to push the feed rate per tooth. The similar strategy and concept now we see since last years, and now it is going further on and on with multi-edge on the turning insert as well. When it comes to forward turning, reverse turning, that means the both directional turning, and that with the lower approach angles. So you can go with the higher feed rates, that means higher MRR, higher metal removal rates. So this technology is now coming up, the innovations and advancement, but it doesn't come as it is. It has to coupled with the strong CAM system, the strong CAM technology, and the machines, technological machines to carry and cover and to retain this technology and to boost this technology up on the workshop. Also, what advancement I see in metal cutting tools is again the micro drilling. Nowadays, we are talking about the chips and micro drills and so on. And when it comes to micro drills, the machines and the also the drill breakages as well we see. What happen if we increase the feed rates or higher thrust force in the drill? So it comes with the WC, tungsten carbide and cobalt based drills, which can carry higher temperature, that means higher cutting speeds. Again, faster rate of the drilling, double the rate or triple the rate of the drilling. Also getting the positional accuracies, the roundness as well. That means I'm talking about the geometrical accuracies, desired uh, accuracies as well, the dimensional accuracies as well, and that too with the faster rate of the drilling. So typically what I see is the grade development, compatibility of the tools and cutter bodies as well in the milling. Again, kilowatt hour reduction, that is a need. I still remember in 2011, Japan hit the high tsunami, and that again had the blackout in the Japan and the main city of Tokyo. And that comes the concept come from there. How about we reduce the units? How about we save the energy, the power? And then it evolved in the cutting tool as well. And now it is under innovation, it is under advancement as well in the even small drills or a carbide insert as well. Going forward, if I talk about some hot trends, of course, panelists talked about, touched upon on this. But again, Internet of Things integration, IoT, Industry 4.0, digitalization, that is very, very now coming up. AI, the real-time feedback. Boring bar is doing boring, finished boring. But what we do not know outside the machine, the operator doesn't know that what is happening with the surface roughness value. Operator doesn't know what is happening with the bore size, with the tolerances, the upper and lower limits, the CP/CPK values. We don't know. This is now comes with the Bluetooth enabled sensors cutting tool. And you know, Subhajit, this comes with the mobile app. Very easy. Anyone can put it and check on the mobile app, check on the iPad or a tablet and so on, or the monitor. And then one can really monitor the operation like boring. What is happening about the bore size? What is happening on the temperature? Is my cutting edge is worn out, about to worn out? Then the sense will alarm will come up, and then that means a very high reliable machining. So this is what the we say trends are coming up when it comes to the innovation and shaping the future of machining. Panelists, you also talk about the 3D printing, lightweight tools. When it comes to the machining technology, machine tool development for high speeds of the spindle. But again, when it comes to the speed, it really requires the balancing of the tool, the balancing of even the boring bars. And then I see here when it comes to the boring operations, axial boring operations, and so on. At that point of time, it is a thumb rule. I'm sure that the one who are attending will agree with me that when you are doing a boring with higher L by D ratios, the front end of the boring bar should be the lightweight. The more lightweight, the best machining accuracy, the best runouts, and also the positional accuracy, surface roughness values, no chatter marks even. We always find the whistle sounds, vibrations, and also the cut marks as well, poor surface roughness values. Why? Because of the what is at the front, which is doing the boring operation. And line boring operations, you know, typical in automotive industry, typical in the fabrications, housings and frames and so on. So that requires now the lightweight of the tools. Now the development in this innovation when it comes to lightweight of the tools, 3D printing, it's not only the boring tools, but it also come up with the milling cutters, not only face mill or shoulder mill, but also with the long edge milling cutters, carrying not one, not two, not 10, maybe 20 inserts. So low cutting force and at the same time low weight and higher metal removal as well. That is again also giving the life of the spindles, spindle assembly, bearings, and so on. So what I see in general right now, the innovation driving the shaping, the future of the machining is internet operated things, digitalization, Bluetooth enabled sensors. We are having the app in the mobile, on the tab, and also in the maybe in the iPad or monitoring systems and so on. So these are the hot trends are ongoing. And believe me, when it comes to India, we are seeing the automotive boost. We are also, let's not forget the defense. Let's not forget the railways. Right now, we are boosting. I heard that the railway ministry, they are saying that we want to make our railways luxury. We want speed, So that means industry is booming. Segment of the railway is booming, segment of the aerospace is booming. We know that. We are the ones. Why the UK Prime Minister said that thanks to India, because they know that 500 engines of Rolls-Royce. So that means it's booming aerospace, railways, and defense as well. So this all industrial development and the faster rate of the growth requires the innovation from the not only the cutting tools but the machine tools, the coatings, and so on. So we are at the edge stepping up, not double but multifold going forward. Is happening, and it will happen soon again, multifold from the multifold. Thank you so much from my side, Subhajit.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Rahul, for the presentation. I just quickly want you to summarize the topic. You were talking about the IoT, digitalization, sensors, 3D printing, all this stuff.
Yep.
How these are actually shaping the cutting tools industry? You spoke about that, but if you can just summarize on that, and how your organization, Domo Pramet, is optimizing all this stuff, if you can talk.
What I said, Subhajit, when it comes to Domo Pramet, as I said, the grade development. So a single grade covering the more applications, that means inventory controls to the customers, and at the same time, higher cutting parameters. And then when it comes to the cutter bodies, what we generally do and innovate is carrying different shape of the inserts and catering different operations like shoulder milling, face milling, eco face milling operations as well. So that means giving a competitive edge to the user in the metal cutting industry, that okay, I have one tool for turning or milling, I can do many different things with that. We are also like coming up with the, as I said, internet operated things and digitalization, coming up with the kind of the data metrics kind of the system. Like you have, as an example, for instance, you take one drill or one end mill or one insert. Now you use it and you have the QR code or a barcode on it. You scan it as a customer, and then you find all this technical specification on the tool. Plus, if it is a drill, it used for, let's say, 50 minutes, for instance, and then again you scan it, and then it will show you that, okay, drill will say, I use for 50 minutes on this machine under these conditions of the machining, wet or dry on the machine, and so on. And now, as a drill, I'm saying my life is only now so and so minutes. And then again you use, and then drill, I as a drill will say, I need a regrinding, I need a coating. This is what technology at Domo Pramet we are coming up with. We are innovating. We are in a process.
Right. So what you mean to say is you are adding more intelligence in the machines. So that is what I can understand.
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
thank you so much once again, Mr. Rahul. Delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Rahul, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. So coatings play a crucial role in cutting tools, providing numerous benefits that enhance tool performance and extend their lifespan. To talk on this topic in detail, we invite Mr. Manoj Mahikar, who is the DGM Sales and Marketing at Oerlikon Belgers Coating India. He will also discuss the latest developments in high performance coatings. Welcome, Mr. Manoj.
Yeah, thank you, Shobhajit. Let me share my screen.
Yes, your screen is visible, sir.
Yeah. So I'm just going through the latest trends which is there happening in the cutting tools as well as the surface coating applications. Now, basically, if we see, if we consider any machining application, it is basically a tribological system. It's a tribo system wherein the two mating parts having some relative motion with some force applied, and there are certain boundary materials like say oil, coolant, air jet, these kind of applications, and the same system basically it gets applied to the machining. For example, it can be insert and the turning component, or it's a drill and the component, or similarly it can be a sheet metal stamping application wherein the sheet metal and your punch and die, these are basically the tribo system. They form the tribo system. Similarly, any mating component in any engineering assembly, that is also a separate tribo system. And in this particular tribo system, basically we experience different kinds of wear. There are different wear mechanisms, like we have abrasion wear, adhesion wear, oxidation wear, because basically we are working at the elevated temperatures. And there can be fatigue related stresses or the diffusion related issues in the tribo system. Now, when we say we need a high productive cutting tool for the given machining setup, basically the crucial factors in the whole scenario is basically the tool material and related treatments, and the basically manufacturing production process for the cutting tool. So this is basically taken care of. This is the scope of the tool manufacturer like Dormer, Promet here, or Zeka. As far as now Oerlikon is concerned, most of my customers or viewers, they must be knowing we are into basically tool reconditioning activity and surface coating activity. So surface coating is our basically the core dominant area, and related to coating, then the cutting tool surface or edge preparation, that also is part of this particular gambit. And the last area is basically the process parameters, and this is basically typically at the customer end or the end user end, whatever machine setup he is having, whatever parameters they are using, the tooling setup, the clamping rigidity, all these things, when they are optimized, then basically we say we are getting into the high productive machining application. Now, just for the viewers' purpose, most of the drilling is 100% PVD process. In milling, 50% of the products, they are basically PVD. Now, in fact, it will be much higher compared to this percentage. And in turning, almost 80% is CVD, and rest of the coatings are PVD. So Oerlikon Balzers, basically we are doing all the PVD coatings here in India. And now, the basic purpose of coating, if we see the cutting tool material without any coating, it's a bulk body, we can say. And the coating, what we provide on this particular cutting tool, it is sort of armor on the cutting tool we provide, which basically protects the cutting tool substrate from the various elements like wear protection, which is now, basically reflected in this particular slide. So these are the properties which coating basically will enhance once it is applied on the substrate. So in a brief, basically the coefficient of friction. So the moment we are adding coating on the substrate, it basically works as good reduction for the friction. So your chip flow, basically it has good improvement on the chip flow. Second is the oxidation resistance. So oxidation resistance, it's basically nothing but, at the elevated temperatures, when you are machining at very high parameters, definitely the process temperature goes very high. So at that juncture, your substrate or even the coating material, that should not get oxidized. That is the property which gets enhanced with the coating. So there are certain coatings which has oxidation resistance up to 1100 degrees centigrade. And normally in any cutting application, the temperatures are, where the actual cutting is happening, it is somewhere varying in the range of say 450 to 550 degrees centigrade. The another property which it basically enhances is the crack retardation. So crack retardation, it is in the sense, basically all the PVD coatings, they impart compressive stresses. The residual stress on the surface of the tool is, it goes into compression zone. And when it is in compression zone, it is always beneficial because it will not allow whatever inherent substrate cracks are there or any defects which are there in substrate, it will not allow those cracks to come to surface faster, and it protects the substrate. Another advantage is basically the abrasion wear. So in abrasion wear, the coatings are basically much harder compared to the substrate. I have some slides on this particular hardness that will explain you what kind of hardness it imparts on the top layer. So this basically reduces the wear on your cutting tool. Then also there are some certain thermophysical property requirements, typically for the work hardening steels. For example, certain exotic materials, or typically in aerospace materials, where you cannot exceed the parameters beyond certain cutting parameters, because these steels, they get hardened at the elevated temperatures. So these coatings basically enhance the cutting edge sharpness at and help in improving the tool life, typically for these kind of exotic materials like pneumonic steels or stainless steels or Inconel kind of materials. Hot hardness, we have basically seen, it is almost parallel to the oxidation resistance requirement. Another thing is all these coatings, basically they contain either these are aluminum oxide, I mean ceramic-like properties. So they will not allow the diffusion activity to happen at the elevated temperature. So basically it will bring better chemical stability. It will not allow any chemical reaction to happen between the cutting tool material and component material at the higher temperature. And of course, hardness and abrasion wear resistance, they go hand in hand. Further, the benefit of the coating is the entire system toughness. It helps in retaining the entire system toughness, because coating is extremely hard, whereas your substrate is typically much less harder compared to the coating hardness. So overall system toughness, it helps in maintaining the system toughness. Then another, the major trend which is coming, I mean, of course, in drilling, typically the edge treatment things, I mean, this was very common, but now, I mean, few years back, Oerlikon Balzer had acquired one ROX University, which was basically specialized in this particular edge honing applications. I mean, they have the good database on the edge honing, edge preparation requirements for different material applications. So we have started using those particular knowledge base which we have now for improving the tool life. So, I mean, if you are using any cutting tool without edge honing and with edge honing, that itself gives you the tool life improvement to the extent of 15 to 20%. And now this technology is getting implemented across all the cutting tool areas in Oerlikon Balzers during the reconditioning process. Another area is, of course, the surface preparation. So surface preparation is also equally important in any coating application, because if your surface is bad, definitely it is not going to give good adhesion to the surface layer. And as you are aware, all these surface coatings, these are typically less than 4 or 5 micron thickness. I mean, even there are certain coatings which are even half micron coating thickness. So the surface preparation is equally important. And so is the edge conditioning. This is nothing but the edge honing process, what we discussed in previous slide. So now this is the entire coatings which are done on the cutting application. So typically the Balzer PVD coating, these are typically the cutting tool applications. So on there are certain coatings which are more on the reducing friction or seizure protection. There are certain coatings which are more on the abrasion resistance. And there are certain coatings which combine both the properties together. We will see in the upcoming slides these things in detail. So this gives the entire coating structure what we have at Oerlikon Balzers. So typically the carbon-based coatings, these are more of coefficient of friction reduction for reducing the friction. But at the same time, these coatings are also useful for the all non-ferrous application. And in carbon-based coating, the highest hardness material is basically diamond. So diamond is the highest wear resistance coatings, and in between we have number of coatings available, which I will explain you in upcoming slide. Then there are coatings which are basically nitride based, and then we have oxide based coatings. And here the typical process temperature is ranging somewhere in the range of 300 to 550 degrees centigrade. So this is the hardness graph for the various coatings what are available. Now, typically, if we see our workpiece materials, they are typically ranging in the range of, we measure it on the Rockwell C scale, and it is typically around 60-62 HRC. We machine up to 60-62 HRC. Occasionally, we also have certain materials which are around 70 HRC. But beyond this, we don't use the Rockwell C scale because the coatings are much harder and they cannot be measured on C scale. So we measure this coatings hardness on the Vickers scale. So typically, if you see the tin coating, everybody is aware that is basically the yellow color coating. And below this, basically, these are the carbon-based coatings like diamond-like carbon. Then we have Alcrona Pro coating. Typically, CBN hardness comes somewhere in this range, around 5,000 Vickers. Diamond is on the extreme range, that is around 9 to 10,000 Vickers. And these are again basically carbon-based coatings, hard carbon and Mayura. So they are typically somewhere in the range of 6,500 to 8,000 Vickers. So let us see the latest coatings which are now available for the steel application. So for steel application, basically we have the platform which is named as SPPP. So this is nothing but the scalable pulsed power plasma, or we also call these as a BALIQ series coatings. So in this particular coating, there were basically two separate processes for the PVD coating. That is, one was arc evaporation and another is sputter coating. In arc, basically the advantages are it's a high degree of ionization, so it's basically very dense coating and very good adhesion. But the finish wise, this is not so smooth coating. Whereas in case of sputter based coating, the ionization level is low. So these are comparatively less dense coating. But the advantage with this was basically it's very smooth coating. So finish is very good. So what we have done basically is we have combined both the process advantages into the SPPP, and this is what we get now. So somewhere in carbide, we have the microstructure improvements. I mean, initially it used to be coarse grade carbide, then we came up with the fine grain, then now we are having nano grain, micro grain carbides. So same structure, same improvement, now it's happening in the coating region. So in coating also, whatever that 3-4 micron layer we are having, with this particular process, we are able to improve the microstructure or the structure of the coating from very coarse to very fine level. And the advantage with this, basically what we get is, now these are all 2000x magnified surface images. So SPPP surface, you will get very good surface finish. So basically it improves your friction, it reduces the friction and improves the chip flow. Typically in the micro tools below 3 mm, this becomes very important characteristics because the sizes are so small and the chip flow has to be better. So in this particular improvement improves in the tool performance, typically in the micro drills.
Mr. Manoj, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, sure. Yes, Shubhrajit?
If you can just speed up.
Sure. Yeah. Another is the basically wear resistance. Again, typically these coatings are application specific. We have customized coatings. And improvement, if you see, compared to regular coatings, these are giving almost 91% improvement. Now, again, we are launching the Ticinos Pro coating, which is further improvement. This gives almost 50% improvement, 50 to 60% improvement over the earlier Ticinos coating. So these are few wear photographs wherein it shows very minimal wear on the cutting edges. Then comes the non-ferrous machining zone. So we have basically still there are different application coatings. For non-ferrous, there are different application coatings. And for non-ferrous, we basically have carbon-based coatings. So this is the basically structure from amorphous grade to crystalline structure. And the coating is basically hard carbon and Mayura coating. If you see the results over uncoated to coated, it straight away gives 100% kind of improvement in the non-ferrous application. Even for the aerospace grade application, it gives good improvement, almost 80% improvement, wherein the silicon content is less than 0.4%. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Manoj, for the importance of coatings in cutting tools. Wish I could give you more time. So delegates, it was Mr. Manoj Mahikar, who is the DGM Sales and Marketing at Oerlikon Buzzards Coating India. And delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Manoj, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. So now we invite Mr. Mohammad Arshad, who is the National Application Manager for Hulco India, to share his presentation on cutting tool trends in CNC machining from an end user's perspective. Welcome, Mr. Arshad.
Thanks, Mr. Rahul and Manoj. That was an excellent presentation with many inputs for the attendees as well as for me. Okay, thanks. So when it comes for the machine tool side, yeah, they have come up with many technologies. Okay, so what a machine tool from the machine tool. Now, when you go for a specific application like aerospace, all those things, aerospace has two different kinds. One, the machine, they are dealing with aluminiums also. Okay, for some structural parts, all those things, they deal with aluminum, which is a non-ferrous. And on the other side, there are materials like stainless steel, Inconel, Incolloy, all those things also, where this Inconoids and all goes with the high temperature, where it has to withstand high temperature. So we as a machine tool, we are just making it okay. It cannot suit 100% on either sides like aluminum. At the same time, it can handle, but somehow we are managing to handle a machine which can handle it, this both the ends. Okay, I think the tools also, we are most concerned on the tools also, that okay, the tools what are used. Okay, tools, we can have a different category of tools. For aluminum, a different tools, and for Inconel, it should be a different tool. Yes, so in that base, we are structuring the machine also so that it has to be used in both the materials. And the customer also has to understand, and the customer also are more understandable now. They are more knowledgeable that okay, what kind of tools to be used, what kind of coolants to be used, what machine will be acceptable for this kind of application. So all those things they are aware of. And most probably what I would suggest to everybody is, Okay, from the machine side, when you are selecting a cutter or when you are selecting an insert for a specific application, also they need to consider the power and torque requirement of the machine. Okay, whether the cutter, what we get from a tooling supplier, or what we are using it for a specific material. Okay, so what the depth of cut, what is the width of cut, and what is the speed and feed we use to give, whether the machine is also enough capable to take up that. Okay, everything has a limit. Okay, beyond a limit the insert may go. Okay, beyond a limit the machine also may not be, cannot withstand that power and torque. So when we are promoting something like toolings also, we need to be very sure that okay, it is within the limit of the mission specification, and we give those tools, and it has been used for those kind of applications. So that all things has to be considered. And regarding this coatings and all, yeah, nowadays it is coming with many kinds of coatings, which is for many applications. It is of course it is performing well. Okay, last some days before we were in application of machining Inconels. Okay, Inconels. So now people have customers has come up with that. Okay, like Inconels and all has to be handled with the cutters like ceramic. Okay, so they are investing in ceramic inserts, and they are inserting in ceramic inserts, even though it is costly, but they come to know the importance that investing on this will increase the material removal rate, and they can get the part out from the machine faster. Okay, so like ceramics, your VC is going to be around 200, 250, 300 VC. It's going to be with a very higher cutting surface speed. Okay, so those kind of things has to be communicated, and the knowledge has to be shared to the customers. And that is what from the Harco side also, we don't always sell only the machine and just leave it like that. We sell as a solution. Okay, we understand the application, we understand what exactly they are going to do, what is their application, what is their expectation. So whether they are looking for some finish, whether they are looking for the cycle time reduction. So whether how is the customer expectation, in those aspects we promote the machine along with the toolings, along with the right coolant systems, along with the right fixturing, along with the right cams. So all these things in a right way we have to keep it front of the customer desk, so that they feel that they have not just not got the machine, they have got a solution. Okay, so we should always promote a solution just instead of a product. Okay, if we give it as a solution, that is what I think it is the best retaining of the customer. And from my side, I don't have any slides to show, okay, because it's fully of our own tooling. I just want to from the machine tool side to the tooling, from the tooling side. And I would like that, okay, just study what is your application, study, and based on that we need to select the right product. So that's it from my side.
So thank you, Mr. Arshad, for this quick presentation on cutting tools trends in CNC machining. So it was Mr. Mohammad Arshad, National Application Manager, Harco India, sharing his presentation on cutting tool trends in CNC machining.
Sorry, I just want to one more this thing. Okay, and the other side, the main thing is the motion control. Okay, which I was just thinking, I just left it off. Okay, so the motion control also from the CNC controller side, it has to be, because the cutters are coming with latest technologies, latest geometries. Okay, geometries. Earlier, maybe I hardly heard that, maybe around 10-12 years back, running it in 3,000, 4,000 feet was one or two customers, very rarely they were doing it. And today, people are cutting it with 12 meters per minute, 15 meters per minute. Okay, that is happening. People come to ask us that whether I can run your machine with this. I have a tool with me, but whether I can run it with this RPM in this much higher feed. Okay, so this kind of higher feeds call not only for the machine rigidity, it also calls for the technology and the motion control. Okay, which has to have a very good handshake with the tool as well. The CNC machine and the tool should have a good handshake. So if there is a good handshake, that is good handshake or good tie or good marriage, whatever it is, then we cannot remove it, and it is going to give more than what you expect. Okay. So motion control is one big thing. machine rigidity and motion control is one important thing that the customer has to consider before they go with the machine selection and high-end application, like based on their segments and high technology tools using in it. So these are some of the aspects which I want to keep it in front of through this panel to the customers, so that in future when they come up with any machine requirement, they can consider all this point to select their machines.
Right.
So thank you.
Thanks, Arshad, once again for making these points and making the opinion. There are a couple of questions. Let me take it. One was this from Sanjay Misra. He's asking, what about I think he made it while Rahul was presenting his presentation. What about the improvement in accuracy of cutting? How it is improving due to advancement in technology? If you can elaborate, Rahul.
Yes, Subhajit. Thanks for the questions. Basically, this advancement in the technology gives the consistent and reliable when it comes to the tool life or accuracies, when it maybe geometrical accuracies or dimensional accuracies. As an example, if I talk about the development in the surmats, which you generally use for finishing applications, and also where CPCPKs are required, and where you need a predictable edge-to-edge tool life, where these technologies and advancements are now the better or beneficial in terms of the accuracies in the machining. So this is how it gives a benefit in terms of accuracies or reliability, I would say, sustainability and reliability, consistency also, I would say. Yeah.
Right. So there is one more question from Sanjay only, but I think Mr. Manoj has already replied, but then also I'll take it up. So after surface coating, how much time equipment will be protected from corrosion? So he's asking that how long it will be corrosion protected after a surface coating. Mr. Manoj, if you can just tell that. Can you unmute yourself, Mr. Manoj? Yeah.
Basically, what he means by the equipment, I didn't get it.
Okay.
Because basically the PVD coatings, yes, they do have certain corrosion resistant properties, and typically in the cutting tool area, we don't basically require these kind of. I mean, definitely oxidation resistance is definitely there. It will protect the cutting tool from getting oxidized at elevated temperatures. But otherwise, in the cutting tool area, I don't get it. I mean, what does he mean by, if you can give more input?
If you have anything very specific, you can write it to us once you receive a feedback, once you receive a mail from us, because after this session, definitely you are going to receive a mail. So you can reply to that mail. I will take it up with Mr. Manoj. I think that should be fine. As we have a little bit of time, I will take the liberty to ask you one more question. Rahul, Mr. Manoj, as well as Mr. Arshad, you are from three different domains. So as we were all talking about the sunrise sectors. So I think we were talking about the aerospace, we were talking about the defense. So these are the sectors which are opening up for the manufacturing sectors. So individually, if you talk about your industry segments or your domain expertise, which are the technologies will be of applications for these industry segments, whether it's defense or aerospace? Start with Rahul. Can you unmute yourself, Rahul?
Yes, Subhajit, thanks for asking this. Let me take this up, answer you for all. When it comes to the defense sector, or we say a segment, that it includes a different variety of the materials like steel, carbon steel, alloyed steel, heat-resistant superalloys as well, and some of the extent, of course, the ISO-N material, which are non-ferrous material. That is one part of the material when it comes to the defense segment. Now, when it comes to the cutting tool and the metal removal rates, some of the components of this segment requires the higher depth of cuts and also the higher shearing force as well as the higher metal removal rates. That means we are talking here about the larger size of the inserts, about the higher depth of cuts. So we at Dormo Pramit, we have a specific, I can say, the heavy machining solutions of the inserts, milling cutters and drills and so on, which consist of the higher size of or the bigger size of the bulky carbide inserts, as well as the chip breakers, which can cater the roughing cuts as well as again the finishing cuts along with the lower depth of cut to control the chips. So that is what we have. When it comes to the Subhajit aerospace, a typical titanium base alloys, again in Kunal we say 6718 or in Kunal 625 material super alloys. So where also the parts I'm talking about. So at Dormo Pramit, we have the specific the grades for turning, milling and drilling as well to cater this state of the materials with the higher metal removal rate, the productivity. When it comes to the drilling part or the frame part or aerostructure part, so we do drilling, the delamination things and so on, or CRPF kind of the material. So where also we at Dormo Pramit, I can tell you we are having the basket of 30,000 products, right from the small drill, high speed to coated ones, solid carbide drills and mills, and indexable as well. So this is what it is in our basket to even cater this aeroframe structures or aero components also. Like the latest trend of the having the Safran engine technology. So those components are super alloys. So we have the grades which can cater the right machining with the higher productivity rate as well, and also controlling the inventory by giving one grade, doing something more.
Right. Let me
Thank
take it quickly with Mr. Manoj as well. Yeah, Mr.
Yeah. Basically, I mean, aerospace and defense, it has opened whole new options. I mean, whole new things in the component materials, ranging from say aluminum with very low silicon content as low as 0.3, 0.4% silicon content. Then we also have the CFRP or GFRP. So, I mean, the helicopter blades or the aeroplane structural beams, which are typical in the CFRP. Then there are the exotic materials like titanium or mnemonic steels. So as I explained in my presentation, at Oerlikon, we have now two different groups basically for the machining. So one coating is specifically addressing the non-ferrous as well as the CFRP, GFRP applications. That is basically, these are all basically carbon-based coatings. I mean, the CVD, diamond coating, is the best application for this particular area. But we also have more economical and which is available here in India. These coatings are available for machining these applications.
Right.
And as far as the exotic or titanium mnemonic steel machinings are concerned, we have the latest S3P series coatings, which I mean, it has capability of machining up to even 72 HRC. So with these particular products, we are addressing the whatever new machining applications, machining challenges are coming.
Got it, Mr. Manoj. Yeah, Mr. Arshad. Can you unmute yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So there are a lot many attendees, and all may be thinking that okay, everybody are discussing only on the defense and aerospace. It's not
Right.
like that. Okay, so all the segments are like medical implants, general engineering, oil and gas, whether it is production and everything. So why everybody are discussing on the defense and aerospaces? So this is which is the segment which is handling the material of different contrasts.
Exactly.
Okay, one is the ferrous, the other end it will be non-ferrous. Okay, so that is why. And when it comes for medical implants also, it is just like that. We'll be using titanium or stainless steel. When it comes for general engineering, oil and gas, it will be steel and alloy steel, all those things. Okay, so it is nothing that attendees may not think that, okay, is that only the defense and aerospace is going to boom in the coming future and all other segments are going to be left behind. It is not the reason. Okay, because the material used in aerospace and defense is of different ends. So we are discussing on that. That's it. Okay, all the segments have their own opportunity to grow in coming futures.
Very,
Okay.
very
So
well.
not
Very
only
well.
this.
For supporting me in that question. So
Yeah. Okay. The only thing is all other segments will deal only with a small difference of materials.
I know.
Okay, specific materials, but this segment will have a big difference in the material handling.
Right.
Okay, that's what we are all discussing on that. And I think that all the segments down the line is going to be like medical today. It has boomed a lot. Medical implant, bone plates.
Right.
Okay, everywhere like
medical.
Western regions.
Exactly.
Okay, it's Western regions like Gujarat and all. It's a very big market for bone plates, and in now South also it is growing. Okay, and automobile, yeah. Now today automobile is slightly down. Yeah, it'll be booming up for sure. There is no doubt. Once the EVs and all are coming inside, it will be growing up. Oil and gas is growing. Okay, all the segments have their opportunity to grow. Okay,
Right.
provided you need to be with an updated technology, you need to be with the right product. Okay, then the opportunity will come to your doorstep. Okay, you need not go there. Okay, when you have a right technology and right equipped infrastructure with you, you need not step out for the opportunity. The opportunity will come to your doorstep. That people will come to know that you have great machine, you are great technology, you have great tools, you have good tools, everything. They will come to you that this is the person who can give me a right product.
I need to acknowledge they were a good orator, yeah. So, Pavitra Mohanty is putting a question. Good session in CNC tools. My question is futures development CNC tool. I think a lot is being discussed on that particular topic. Pavitra will ask you, will request you to join our next session on the same next Thursday. We have a session on machine tools and CNC tool. We will be discussing. Please join on that particular day as well. So. Before summing it off, can I ask all the panelists? I know it's going to be a little repetitive, but definitely I will ask 30 seconds concluding remarks on today's session on hot trends in cutting tools that are driving innovation and shaping the future of machining. So 30 seconds for Rahul. Hot trends. Unmute yourself and shoot.
Yeah, Subhajit, thanks. Yeah. When it comes to this hot trends, we are talking here about the Industry 4.0, digitalization, and of course Bluetooth enabled things, 3D printing, like cutting tools, and of course again the grade developments and the coating developments and so on. So this is what I see shaping the manufacturing. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Manoj. Unmute yourself, sir. Right. Thank you.
Going forward, almost all industries are booming, and that too typically in the aerospace, defense, as well as what Mr. Arshad has said, medical. Yes, I mean in medical area also there is big momentum is there, and industry will be growing good. I mean it will be more than 6% CAGR. Definitely this growth rate will be there. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Arshad.
Of course, if we are silent, also customers are not going to leave us keep silent. They are going to keep us very busy. Okay, we have to work for them. End of the day, customers, we have to do it for the customers, and they are expecting more from us, and we are sure that we will be satisfying their expectations. Okay, in terms of technology, in terms of enhancement, in terms of good product. Okay, so there's no doubt at all. Okay, they are going to keep us busy.
Yeah. Mr. Rahul, I think there is one more question for you in the Q&A box. Can you please suggest the harder cutting tool materials other than corundum, titanium, diamond, if you have?
Yeah, when it comes to the cutting tool materials, diamond are the hardest one, I can tell you. But I will take it like that. If we can elaborate more on the application, workpiece, and so on, so I can give a specific answer or specific details on that one. But diamond is the hardest one.
Right. So, Mr. Rahul, who put this question, please write it to us once you receive a mail after this session. So definitely I will take it up with Mr. Rahul. So the cutting tools industry in India is poised for growth due to the increasing demand from various end user industries, not restricted to defense, aerospace, medical, but a whole lot of industries, including electric vehicle. The focus on advanced material processes will be continued. With technological advancement and supportive government policies, the industry is expected to witness further expansion in the coming years. So with that, we conclude today's session on digital dialogue on hot trends in cutting tools, sponsored by Domar Pramit. And thank you once again, Mr. Sarad Kulkarni, Mr. Rahul Inamda, Mr. Manoj Mahikar, and Mr. Mohammad Arshad for your time and participation. It was my pleasure having you here today. And thank you, delegates, for attending. We hope you have enjoyed this digital dialogue. We thank you, program sponsor for the session, Domar Pramit. One more announcement, as usual, we will premiere an edited video of this entire session on our YouTube channel, Mojo for Industry Media, on 25th of July at 3 p.m. So please subscribe to the channel and you will soon get the notification. Also, as I was mentioning, we will have the next episode of Digital Dialogue on machine tool monitoring and maintenance on 27th of July at 3 p.m. So see you again on 27th. Please register and join the session.
Thank you.
See you again on 27th. Till then, and stay safe. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rahul. Thank you, Arshad. Thank you, Manoj, sir. It was great having you here today.
Bye.
Bye.